Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I've got another Commander deck tech for you. Saitama from One Punch Man, everybody's favorite one-hit, one-punching wonder, has come to Magic the Gathering in the form of Shuyan, the Silent Tempest, one of my favorite commanders. First printed in Fate Reforged. This boy is the Magic Universe, Multiverse, whatever you want to call it, version equivalent of Saitama. He can mess someone up lickety split 1, 2, 3. Son. Real quick at the commander table. If you slap him down at the table, just pick a person and beat the hell out of him. And I'm going to show you how. Let's get right into the deck. Here we go. So, this deck, I threw this together a couple years ago with really just a pile of chaff. My paper version is nowhere near as good as this. But thank goodness for things like Moxfield, right? So Shuyan, originally printed in Fate Reforged. 3 mana, 3/2. He's got Jeskai, Murica colors. Prowess, Human Monk. Whenever you cast a spell, non-creature spell, 1/1 till end of turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 2 red or 2 white. If you do it, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. So he can enable that on himself, or he can enable that on your other dudes. Now, in Commander, since you have to deal 21 commander damage, he can beat someone up real quick on his own, and I'm going to show you how. So outside of Shuyan, though, before I get on all the goodies you're going to slap on him, I did supplement him with other creatures. There's only 6 other creatures in this deck. You got Erebor Flamesmith. Given the whole deck revolves around instant or sorceries, it's basically another Gutter Snipe, except it deals 1 damage. So, Flamesmith, Firebrand. Firebrand's a little more versatile when you cast your artifacts. She does stuff. Gutter Snipe, instant or sorcery, 2 damage to each opponent. So a little less damage here. Kessig, Flame Breather, non-creature spell, so it artifacts as well. Basically a more toughness version of Firebrand. Kiln Fiend, this is one of my favorite cards. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery, he gets plus 3/0 until end of turn. So you can pair him up, give Shuyan a pet, and slam this into somebody and ruin their day. Deal 15, 10 damage to somebody pretty easily. And Young Pyromancer to net you some bodies as you cast your spells. As your sorcery, you get 1/1 red elementals you get to keep. So really, let's go right into the meat of the deck. It's going to be your cheap, low-cost instant and sorceries. So you really want to have a lot of stuff that you can get recursion. Because this deck can putter out pretty quick. We'll just get into these quick and dirty. I want to start with some of the card draw and ways you can sift out your deck to get what you need and trigger Shuyan. So I call it the triple P and B: Ponder, Portent, Preordain, and Brainstorm. Say that 5 times fast. So Portent. I didn't know they reprinted this in what's it called? Duskmourn, House of Horror. Or is it the Duskmourn Commander? I don't know. I was pretty surprised to see this reprinted. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. You may have that player shuffled. Draw a card, so you can sift your stuff, rearrange it, draw at the beginning of next turn's upkeep. Preordain, we all know what this does. Scry 2, draw a card. You got Serum Visions, draw a card, scry 2. So you're sorting, rearranging your deck, get your cheap spells. And here you go, Ponder, the good old-fashioned, it's $3.49. Pretty nasty for a common. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put them back in any order. You may shuffle, draw a card. So you could rearrange your deck and then draw. How about that? Some other little cheap card draw. I did have Sleight of Hand in here. That was really great to see that get reprinted, rather. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one in your hand, the other at the bottom of your library in the order. So more rearranging, more pumping your dudes. So as you're rearranging, getting what you need, you can pop these guys off, deal damage to your opponents, get some bodies. And stuff like Kiln Fiend is only going to get bigger for the turn and slam this into somebody. Other turn ways of getting through your deck. I've added Reckless Impulse and Light Up the Stage. So Light Up the Stage can work out pretty well for pretty cheap, because you're going to deal damage with your guys here, or Shuyan. And you can also most likely you're going to be doing it for the Spectacle. Cast these cards, you get into your next turn to use them. Other cards I included Reckless Impulse. This just came off a standard, so we know what this one does. Basically, exile top 2, you have until the next turn to play them. Chances are, whatever you exile away, you're gonna play it. So the little things here to do the actual damage and the fun part. You want to give Shuyan evasion. You want to get right past your opponent, slip past their defenses. So Artful Dodge, Unblockable, Flashback. You cast any one of these spells. Artful Dodge, Shuyan gets plus prowess, so he becomes a 4/3. If you have the mana, you give him Double Strike. That's 8 damage to your opponent's face, 8 commander damage right off the bat. Then you get something like Assault Strobe. You put this on Shuyan, you don't have to pay the extra cost. You could turn him into a 4/3 if you just cast just this. Another one, one of your creatures gains flying until end of turn. Distortion Strike, this is a fun one. +1/0 until end of turn, it can't be blocked this turn. And it has rebound, so you can do it again. Enter the Enigma, a new card that came out. I loaded this deck up with a lot of these cards that ability, draw a card. These are awesome. They get through the deck, get you what you need to beat your opponent up. So enter the Enigma, can't be blocked this turn. Another one, Reckless Charge, not quite the same, but it gets +3/0 until end of turn, but it has Flashback, goes a very long way. This one's great. Renegade Tactics, target creature can't block this turn. Draw a card. No, another one, this one's a little interesting. Ryle. So Shuyan can take the damage. It's going to make sure there's no more lethal damage coming his way. Deals 1 damage to target creature you control. That creature gains trample until end of turn. So do the 1 damage to Shuyan. He becomes a 4/3. Sneak in there, beat someone up. But I promise, he's going to get bigger than a 4/3. What else we got here? Is that everything? So we got Warlord's Fury. Creatures will get your first strike until end of turn. This will get you past, if your opponent's got a Death Touch blocker, you'll do the damage first. You'll get through it. And, more importantly, draw a card. This one's also great. Slip through space. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Again, draw a card. So, any 3 of these, if you could say you get off 3 of these with Shuyan on the table, he gets +3, +3/0. He's already 3 toughness, so he's 6 right there. So 3, 6. You attack with him, get past your opponent. He's doing 12 damage right off the bat. So the little things you can do to make this go your way and to get you a little further along your path. Now, on to the fun part, the instants. Actually, no, I shouldn't skip over. There's a couple more sorceries I actually want to look at. Let's back up. So Treasure Cruise, you want to draw your cards. You're going to exile stuff from your yard, your non-flashback stuff, and run it all back, do it again. Really a good card draw piece. I thought it makes sense here. Again, you're going to get through your deck pretty quickly. And a couple more sorceries that are key. Since Shuyan gets bigger until end of turn, you want to do what you can to get extra combats. You want to get the most bang and punch for your buck. So Seize the Day, untap target creature after this phase, an additional combat phase. So you cast this, Shuyan gets even bigger, and you can attack again with Shuyan. Relentless Assault, untap all creatures you control. There's an additional combat step. And this is reprinted in the Mystery Booster too, which is pretty cool. I love that old-fashioned art. So now on to the instance for real. So Accelerate. This one's cool because I have one of these. I remember when Torment came out, I got some of these. Gains haste on a turn, draw a card, only 2 mana. This one's fun. Crimson Wisp becomes red until end of turn. Not very useful to make him red. It doesn't really, nothing really here jives with that. But it just, keep spell, draw a card. God's Willing. This one is awesome. Now, it can be a on-the-spot protection. Gains, target you control gains protection from the color of your choice till end of turn, and you can scry. Not so much a buff card, but something to exile to clear the path. Path to exile, perfect. Get something off the board you don't want to deal with. And it pumps up your Shuyan. Samut Sprint gets +2/1 until end of turn, and it gains haste. Impulse, this lets you draw. You know what this does. This has been standard recently. Rum and Get, it's fun. Gets +2/2 until end of turn. Give your opponent a food token. Who cares, right? It doesn't help them with commander damage. That creature gains indestructible end of turn. Then you can get yourself a 5/4 Shuyan. You deal a damage to your opponent. They're taking 10. Another great one here. Old but good. Bloodlust. And I made a point to add the original Legends art. Shout out to my buddy Brody Alfonso for making me appreciate the finer points of old cards, especially old sets like Legends. Target creature gets +4/-4. If this would basically kill the creature, the toughness becomes 1. So you put this on Shuyan right off the bat. He gets a 7 power off of 2 mana, and it doesn't kill him. So what's going to happen is you attack, you're going to deal 14 damage. But chances are you're going to have a handful of any of these other instant or sorceries in your hand. And Shuyan is going to turn into Saitama right off the bat. Another great one, Defiant Strike, 1/0 until end of turn, jump. You know what this does. Pretty standard, pretty straightforward. This one's great, old but good. Did you even know about this card? Let me know in the comments if you've heard of Shadow Rift. It's like this card is made so long ago, but it was made for now. Target creature gains shadow until end of turn. I promise, nobody's going to have anything to block your shadow creature. It'll only be blocked by other creatures with shadow, and guess what? You draw a card. Shore up, this was just in standard. Plus 1/1 until end of turn, gains hexproof. Untap it, so you can attack and you get it back. Leap, flying until end of turn. This one's great. This came out in Odyssey. Defy gravity, gains flying until end of turn. Flashback, you all know what that does. Boros Charm, so you got a little modular thing here. Can do quite a bit for 2 mana. You can do 4 damage to a player or planeswalker. Not really useful. Permanent you control gets indestructible. You definitely want that. Or target creature gains double strike. So this can protect your dudes in a pinch, and it can give something double strike. You can also pair this up with the other dudes at the table. You know, take any one of these spells, and you got your Kiln Fiend out. So if you cast Enter the Enigma, for example, your Kiln Fiend is going to become a 4/4/2, and then you give it double strike with Boros Charm. You're going to deal 8 damage to somebody. But just keep in mind, all the utility goes a very long way for a little bit of mana. Brainstorm, Ponder, Portent, Preordained Brainstorm. You know what this does. Draw 3, back in the library in the order. Emerge Unscathed. This one's great. Gains protection of the color of your choice till end of turn. And Rebound. You got that recursion. You can do it again. If you cast a spell from your hand, exile it. Being your next upkeep, you may cast this card. So I believe this will trigger the prowess yet again. Yeah, cast. So, always good to double, triple check your rules. So, you get this back. You do it again and buff up your dude. Lauren's Escape. Oh, this is pretty good. Target artifact or creature, hexproof and indestructible. And most importantly, scry 1. So you're making Shuyan bigger. This one was interesting. Excuse me. A little under the weather. Flip out the back. Put a +1/1 counter target creature. It phases out. So this one's going to be more of a protection spell more than anything. In terms of helping Shuyan your Saitama, if you attack and then phase it out, you're going to deal no damage. So what you can do, if Shuyan gets targeted, you can target it with Slip Out the Back. He'll get the buff trigger for it. He'll phase out, he'll get to keep the counter on him. So you'll have that for next time. But if you cast this on something else with Shuyan's on the table, you'll get the prowess trigger. So this is more of a help you now and later card. But it's more of a protection spell than a buff and pump for Shuyan. Cerulean Wisp, target creature has blue until end of turn, draw a card. Expedite, this one's great. Haste until end of turn, draw a card. Monstrous Rage, we all know what this does. From all that mono red rush aggro decks you see on Arena. Arena is rigged, but that's a whole other discussion. Target creature gets +2/0 until end of turn. Create a monster roll token. Chanted creature gets +1/1 on its trample. So it gives Shuyan even more punch for the buck. That's not a phrase. Who says that? So Shuyan, he's a 3/2. You hit him with this. 3, 4, 5, 6 with a monster roll token on it. So yeah, 7. So for 1 mana, your Shuyan can deal 7 damage. Pretty cool, I think. Swords the Plowshares, exile target creature. We all know what this does. Pretty standard commander fare. Consider, surveil, draw a card. You can't go wrong. This one's going to be a lot of fun to work with. Fist of Flame, draw a card until end of turn. Target creature gains trample. It's +1/0 for each card you draw on this turn. You could potentially draw a lot of cards. This can get you very far, very fast. Draw a card, yeah. This is just, I can't imagine hitting somebody with this. Opt, scry, draw. Titan Strength, this is one of my favorite cards. +3/1, scry 1. So again, you're sifting, you're pumping it up. Put this on Shuyan, he's a 3/2. He's a 6, he'll become a 6/3, 6/4, whatever. I'm not really counting the toughnesses, it doesn't matter. Looking at power. So you put this on Shuyan, +3 from this, +1 from the prowess. So right there, 7. Get in there and attack. Pay that double striker. You're dealing 14 damage to somebody. Have fun. Merry Christmas. Knock their teeth out. Some additional artifacts to trigger the prowess, but also give you long-term value. Lava Spur Boots, +1/0. Excuse me. Lava Spur Boots, 1/0 haste. We know what this does. Seen a lot of play in standard. It's definitely a great card. It's kind of a discount version of these other 2 spells, Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots. Lightning Greaves, equip 0, pay 2 to cast it. Equip creature has haste and shroud. So you just want to be careful with the shroud. If it has shroud, you can't even target it with your own spells. So this is good as a temporary measure, but you don't really want to utilize this too much. It's going to trigger your prowess. And maybe even take this out of the deck entirely and sub it with something else. So Swiftfoot Boots, Hexproof, and Haste. 2 mana, 1 to equip. You're going to do some stuff there. And some auras and enchantments. So Aqueous Form, enchanted creature can't be blocked as long as that's equipped. Then we're going to attack Scry once. So you can attack, deal damage, slip right past, and scry your library. This one's great. Cloak of Invisibility. I got a little bit of an old school flair here. Enchanted creature gains phasing and cannot be blocked by wall. So at end of combat, it's going to phase out. It's protected. It keeps all its auras and equipments on it. It can't be targeted. You get your threat back next turn, and it can't be touched while it's phased out. It's this one. Combat Research. This jives wonderfully with legendary creatures. As long as quick creature is legendary, plus 1/1, has ward 1. And whenever it deals damage, you're going to draw a card. With all the trample and stuff you're going to give it, you're going to be drawing. Jeskai Ascendancy, a permanent, effect as long as it's, enchantments do. Non-creature spell. Creatures you can, so basically double prowess and untaps your dudes. So you can attack at the end of combat, cast something like your slip out the back, phase something out, untap everything. You have blockers. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. So you're drawing, you cast this, you're even getting a prowess trigger. There's so much happening here, and it's only 3 mana. Fiery Inscription, ETB, the ring tempts you. Whenever you cast an sorcery spell, 2 damage to each opponent. Ideally, you want to get this early on. You should get this card fairly quickly. This deck does sift through itself pretty quickly with all the scrying and drawing we do. You want to get this out as soon as possible. All that damage is going to add up, especially with your gutter snipe type of creatures up at the top I showed you. And last but not least, another phaser. Whenever any creature you control attacks, it phases out at end of combat. So this one's a little more permanent. It'll protect all your dudes outside of just the Cloak of Invisibility. In terms of the mana base, there's even some utility here to help out help Saitama get past your opponent and punch him in the nuts. You've got Access Tunnel. Target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. You want to trigger this first, pay this. Target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn, and then you can pump it up. But you have another alternative here. You got Rogue's Passage. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. So this can get pretty nasty. And don't forget your Kiln Fiend up top. If you got him on the board, if something happens to your Shuyan, he becomes killed. He gets killed too many times, and he's a buttload of mana to pay. You can have stuff like this out at the table. Your Kiln Fiend. Maybe find a way to phase him out and just keep smacking people. So, mana base. Outside of that, pretty standard mana base. There are a lot of fetch lands in here. You want to empty out your deck. So you got Arid Mesa. You've got Evolving Wilds. You got Terramorphic Expanse. You got Fabled Passage. You got Flooded Strand. We also have, what else we got? Scalding Tarn. So you're going to be sorting through your deck. That's what, 3, 5, 6 lands you're going to be sifting out of your deck. There's only 5 basic islands, 6 basic mountains, a handful of plains. Did I really not add plains? Yeah, I lied. I can't see that. I added 4. I added the Cowboy Plains. Mystic Monastery gives you your Jeskai colors. Molten Tributary, you can use this. You can fetch out and search for it with Scalding Tarn. If you get this turn 1 Scalding Tarn, go get your Molten Tributary so you don't have to worry about coming in, drawing later when you might need the mana fixing. So it enters the battlefield tapped ahead of the time. But that's Magic basics. So stay at Sacred Foundry, as well as Steam Vents, fetchable. Go ahead and find them with your fetch lands, even, to help you get through your deck and thin out the deck. And of course, you gotta have a Triome. All of your fetch lands can help get this out. You can cycle it if you need to. Great, wonderful utility card. If you want to spend a lot of money, you can put a Plateau in this deck. I was just looking for dual lands and have the dual typing to give you more of a utility to find with any of your fetch lands. You could definitely sub this out. It's pretty expensive. Fun fact, I think Plateau is actually the cheapest of the dual lands. So if you want to get one, I mean, I'd buy a list of your collection. Maybe you can buy a really played one for that's a couple $100. And I think that'd be a worthwhile investment. It's on the reserve list, not getting reprinted, and dual lands are immortal. They're evergreen. They're always worth something. Other than that, here's more of a breakdown of the deck. I'll put a link in the description. Red mana production, 49%. It's 40. The primary color of the deck is actually blue, but more mountains. But I think you'll be okay. All your spells cost like 1 red mana, except your double combats, your Seize the Day and your Relentless Assault. That's double red, but you'll have no problem getting there. You won't need those till later on in the game because of their mana cost. Here's a practice hand. So if you want to, let's deal another hand. Right here, the draw here is a little bit shitty. You have 2 of the lands you need. Let's draw. Let's see what we get. Okay, you'd be in trouble for a little while. That's not good. What do you think you are? The Arena Shuffler? Deal another hand. So not bad. Right here, you can do all the stuff you need to do. Get your Shuyun out. Get a Kessig Flame Breather in the meantime. So Kessig Flame Breather, you get him out. You cast your Krumengetics, you cast your Distortion Strikes, make your Shuyun bigger, deal some damage. Chance Shuyun, don't forget the double strike. He's going to get you that 21 commander damage very quickly. So you can cast your Relentless Assault pretty soon and just get right in and end somebody. But I recommend this might be more of a one-on-one casual commander deck. So if you play him at the commander table, somebody's going to go right for you. He's a very aggro commander. As much fun as Saitama is, and we all love him, it's I don't think everybody else at the commander table is going to appreciate him. Anyway, what do you think? Are you a fan of One Punch Man? I've seen a few episodes. It's pretty funny. It's an interesting take on the martial arts anime. This deck is definitely one of my favorite commander brews to mess around with. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. What's your favorite, I guess, One Punch Man character, if you have one besides Saitama? What do you think of the anime? What do you think of this deck? What do you recommend to improve it? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, everyone. Catch you next time.